Lap 261 at Martinsville. Denny Hamlin is leading by 3 full seconds. He's already swept both stages. He's led 292 of the first 260 laps. This race is over. Everybody watching knows it. And then Chase Elliott's pit crew makes a call that nobody saw coming. They short pit him. They bring him in early. Track position over tire life. Roll the dice. 68 laps later, Chase Elliott crosses the line first. Hendrick Motorsports' first win of 2026. Chevrolet's first win of 2026. And if you think this was just another Martinsville win for the most popular driver in the sport, you are missing what actually happened here. Let me show you. Here's the thing nobody wanted to say out loud at the start of 2026. Hendrick Motorsports, the winningest organization in NASCAR history. 13 Cup championships. The team that owns Martinsville was getting embarrassed. 6 races into the 2026 Cup Series season. 0 wins, not one. Kyle Larson, the defending champion, hadn't visited victory lane. William Byron, 2-time Daytona 500 winner, hadn't done it either. Alex Bowman, nothing. And Chase Elliott, the 2020 champion, the sport's 8-time reigning most popular driver, was quietly putting together top 10s and watching Toyota run away with the season. Because that's what was happening. Tyler Reddick was winning everything. 4 victories in the first 6 races for the 23XI Racing number 45. The Toyota camp looked untouchable. Reddick had an 82-point lead on Ryan Blaney by the time the series rolled into Martinsville. And the conversation wasn't, who's going to beat Reddick? It was, can anyone in a Chevrolet even show up this year? And Chase Elliott specifically? He came into Martinsville on March 29, 2026, with a story that had a crack in it. The 2025 season gave him his 20th career Cup win at Atlanta, passing Brad Keselowski on the final lap. He'd won at Kansas in the playoffs. He'd opened 2025 with a cookout clash victory at Bowman Gray. The resume was there. But 2026? Through 6 races, the best he had was a 4th-place finish at the Daytona 500. Consistent, professional, not a contender. And for a driver whose entire career has been measured against his 2020 championship, professional is damning with faint praise. Then Martinsville happened, and it wasn't just a win. It was a statement about what this team actually is when the math gets tight. Here's what you need to understand about what Alan Gustafson and the number 9 team did at Martinsville. Because if you were watching it live, it looked like desperation. In hindsight, it looks like the smartest call Hendrick Motorsports has made in a year. Denny Hamlin was dominating, 6-time Martinsville winner. He'd won the pole equivalent of Martinsville Mastery, Stage 1, Stage 2, 292 laps, led out of 400. Hamlin himself said after the race that he was leading by 3 seconds at the exact moment Chase Elliott made the short pit call that won the race. 3 seconds at Martinsville is an eternity. That's a green flag gap that Hamlin should have been able to manage in his sleep. Except Hamlin couldn't manage it, because Elliott wasn't behind him anymore. Pay attention to this, because this is the part that most of the recaps glossed over. Elliott came in on lap 261 when he didn't have to. The number 9 took 4 tires when nobody else was pitting. He cycled out of the top 10 momentarily. And then, when the rest of the field finally came in under green, Elliott was the guy with fresh rubber and clean air. The restart with 68 laps to go. That's when he took the lead for good. Hamlin's own words after the race. He did a good job controlling the pace there. Just really came from that bad restart. Just not much more I could have done. That's a 6-time Martinsville winner telling you he got out-strategized, not out-driven. And here's the detail that really matters. Chase Elliott made his very first Cup Series start at Martinsville, exactly 11 years to the day before this win. 11 years. He started his career at this track, and on the anniversary of that debut, with his team in a drought, with Chevrolet shut out, with Toyota running the sport, he beat the track's most dominant active driver with a strategy call and 68 laps of flawless execution. By 0.565 seconds. That's not a coincidence, that makes a good story. That's a driver who knows exactly where he is. Okay. So he won Martinsville. One race. Why does this matter for the rest of 2026? Here's why. And I want you to really look at these numbers, because they change how you should think about the rest of this season. Before Martinsville, Chase Elliott was 5th in the Cup Series standings. After Martinsville, he's 4th. He jumped one spot. Doesn't sound dramatic, right? Except look at where he is now. 249 points, behind only Reddick, Blaney, and Hamlin. He's ahead of his own teammate William Byron, who, by the way, finished 5th at Martinsville and is sitting on 238 points in his own right. Hendrick Motorsports, the team everybody was writing off through 6 races, suddenly has 2 drivers in the top 5. Add in Kyle Larson, who finished 9th at Martinsville and sits in a tie for 8th, and that's 3 Hendrick cars inside the top 10 with 29 races to go. The gap to Reddick is 104 points. That sounds like a lot. It isn't. Under the 2026 Cup Series points structure, a single win is worth 55 points with stage points on top. That means 2 wins and a couple of stage sweeps closes that gap completely. Elliott just proved at Martinsville that the number 9 team has the strategic playbook to steal wins, even when they're not the fastest car on the track. Hamlin was the fastest car. Elliott won the race anyway. And here's where the power rankings started to shift. Fox Sports moved Elliott up after Martinsville with a note that read almost like a warning, that the win was the team's argument that the 2020 champion is a legitimate 2026 contender. That's a quiet line in a power rankings column, but it's the kind of thing that changes how the rest of the garage races you. When other teams start defending against you instead of counting you out, your whole season changes. Now here's the part that should make every team that isn't Hendrick Motorsports nervous, because 2026 isn't a normal NASCAR season. The chase is back. Under the new format that NASCAR announced this January, the top 16 drivers in the regular season standings make the postseason, and then the championship is decided in a 10-race chase. And the regular season itself rewards one thing above everything else: consistency combined with the ability to steal wins. That's not a generic description. That is a literal scouting report of Chase Elliott's entire career. Look at what he's already done in 6 races and 1 Martinsville win. He has a 4th at Daytona. He has top 10s accumulating. He has a win on one of the hardest tracks on the calendar against the track's best active driver. He is 4th in the standings with 249 points, 91 points above the playoff cut line at 16th. Daniel Suarez is the guy on the bubble right now, sitting exactly 9 points ahead of Michael McDowell for that final spot. Chase Elliott isn't fighting to make the chase. He's fighting to go into the chase with momentum. And here's the math that matters. Elliott has 7 career road course wins. He's historically one of the best road racers in the field. The 2026 schedule still has COTA already run, but Watkins Glen, Sonoma, and the new San Diego street race are all still to come. If Elliott wins even one of those, which, looking at his history, is more of a baseline expectation than a prediction, that's another 55 points plus stage bonuses. Combine that with what he just showed at Martinsville, which is that his team can out-strategize anybody in the garage on a bad speed day, and you start to see the pattern that Hendrick Motorsports is building toward. The team that looked broken through 6 races just became the team with the deepest top 5 presence in the series. And the driver everybody was polite about became the guy who just out-executed Denny Hamlin at Hamlin's best track. So here's what I want you to think about. 6 weeks ago, nobody was putting Chase Elliott on their 2026 championship shortlist. Reddick was the story. Hamlin was the veteran threat. Blaney was the quiet, consistent Penske guy. Elliott was the 8-time most popular driver who'd have a few good finishes and maybe sneak into the playoffs. That was the narrative. Now, he's 4th in the standings. He just ended Hendrick's winless drought on the 11-year anniversary of his Cup debut. He did it at a track where the winningest active driver was leading by 3 seconds with 140 laps to go. And his team, Alan Gustafson, the crew chief who won him the 2020 championship, just reminded the entire garage that the number 9 knows how to steal a race. So here's the question. When the chase starts in September and all that matters is who's peaking at the right time, do you still think Chase Elliott is a guy who might sneak into the playoffs? Or is he the guy who just quietly became the most dangerous driver nobody was talking about? Drop your prediction in the comments. Like this video if Martinsville made you reconsider your 2026 championship pick. Subscribe if you're new. I'll see you tomorrow.